From being the best team in the Premier League to one of the worst.
They've been completely miles off it, if we're being honest, in the sense of their standards. Their level is way higher than what they're performing at.
But still, it's not good enough. That no matter how much excuses I can come up with, it's still not good enough in the position we're in right now.
From scoring for fun to conceding for fun.
And the Liverpool malaise continues.
We maybe didn't expect them to do as well, Robbie's last season, but we didn't expect this.
No, without doubt. That's probably Arne Slot's worst day in charge of Liverpool Football Club.
From getting people out of their seats to fans walking out before the final whistle, Liverpool are struggling.
Yeah, I thought Liverpool looked like a really weak team today.
Liverpool's struggles continue apace.
They had the best manager in the league. Now he looks like the Dutch Heisenberg. They spent £500 million just to get worse. They tied the most out-of-form Spurs team. They lost to a last-place Wolves team. At one point, Liverpool had lost back-to-back league games by a margin of 3+ goals for the first time since April of 1965 under Bill Shankly. Every attack against Liverpool is basically a goal.
Virgil, it's another tough day for Liverpool. Why isn't it working at this moment in time?
We concede too many easy goals.
There is no sugarcoating it anymore. This is a team in a bit of a crisis.
This is certainly a mini crisis because of the way that they're playing.
I think it is crisis time for Liverpool.
To see the champions lose 4 games in a row in the Premier League with the expenditure in the summer, I think we're in crisis time for Liverpool right now.
It's funny, I saw people online joking about the fact that Slot has mastered the Ruben Amorim special, which is if you space out your wins enough, you can never get enough backlash to get sacked. Liverpool's wins in the Champions League and some sporadic Premier League wins kept giving fans a glimmer of hope, but it's been the same story all season. The question everyone keeps asking is, how the hell did we get here? I mean, if you go back to the summer of 2025, most Liverpool fans were going to the hospital because their erection was lasting longer than 6 hours. They had just won the Premier League. They had the best player in the league in Salah. They had the best center back in the world in Van Dijk. And even players like Gravenberch and McAllister looked like beasts. After winning the league in a dominant fashion, Liverpool did something that they had never done before. They took out their credit card and went crazy. They added some insane players. In defense, they strengthened the left back spot by signing one of the best left backs in the league in the season before, in Kerkez. At right back, they brought in Frimpong, who was coming off the back of some incredible seasons of his own at Leverkusen. Then came the big three: Wirtz, Ekitike, Isak. Everyone was so excited. In fact, the narrative at the time was that Liverpool were just going to run through the league.
I thought it would all just slot, forgive the pun, perfectly.
Everybody had them as favorites. Everybody thought that Liverpool had signed the Galacticos. It was one of the greatest transfer windows ever. Every week they were signing some top talent. Every week they were breaking some kind of transfer record.
Jamie, there will be a lot of expectation around this Liverpool side because of the signings that have been added, because they are the defending champions.
They went shopping like champions. Then when the season began, they kept winning. Sure, at the time every game was won by a late winner. But the general consensus was that if they were winning games while playing so bad, then what's going to happen when they all clicked? They're going to just beat everybody by even more. Unfortunately, they just never clicked. Now they look lost. The results have been horrendous, and the performance is even worse.
Is it more surprising that Slot hasn't been sacked at this point?
Oh boy.
Look, if Arne Slot hadn't have won the Premier League last year, I think there's a fair chance that he could have lost his job. But he did win.
Like, the fans are not just frustrated about losing games. They're frustrated about how lifeless the team looks while doing it. Even during the good runs earlier in the season and towards the back end of last season, their performances were patchy. Late goals and individual brilliance has masked deeper issues. I mean, imagine where this team would be without Dominik Szoboszlai. Liverpool fans are not used to seeing their team like this. Earlier in the season, maybe you could have said that they're doing bad because of bad luck. But now, you can't deny it, these performances are woeful.
At times there is panic that is going on. And, you know, Arne Slot just said there about, you know, the counter-attacking towards the last 20 minutes. They were counter-attacking a lot. That a lot of times that they had the opportunity to go and score and get the second goal. Liverpool here, especially at Anfield, come across teams that come and play it and sit in a low block. So they must work on that and know, right, teams are going to come and sit in a low block. We're going to play counter-attacking football. The final pass has got to be a good one. There was far too many out there that the final pass was awful. It was pathetic. It was terrible.
Defensively, I mean, things are a mess. Liverpool have always been known for their high press and solid defensive structure. It's what helped the team win the league last year. They pressed in a 4-4-2 with Szoboszlai joining whoever was up front, and they would suffocate teams. But now they look so vulnerable. As soon as teams break out of the press, they just have a free path to goal. Think about this. Every team basically bent Spurs over and spanked them. Except for Liverpool. Slot's Liverpool somehow made Tottenham look good. And the fact that they got a 1-1 draw, it was actually almost lucky. They could have easily lost that game too. Set pieces have now become a reoccurring problem. So much so that Slot himself has called it out.
And that was one of our main strengths last season, that we hardly conceded from set pieces. So we have to go back to that. We haven't changed our setup. We haven't changed anything. So we have to prove in the upcoming weeks and months that we were maybe a bit unlucky in conceding some set pieces. Because that can happen in 5 or 6 games. Difficult to see it for the long term, but this is something we definitely have to improve, because I also see teams in the Premier League that win games by set pieces, and we lose games because of set pieces.
He's mentioned how they're conceding too many crosses, which is a worrying sign for a team that once prided itself on defensive discipline. Look at Haaland's goal versus them at the Etihad. Nunez has way too much time to look up and deliver the perfect cross. Look at the last-minute goal they conceded against Crystal Palace. Look at the goal Welbeck scored against them. The Premier League is moving more and more towards recreating WrestleMania through set pieces. Conceding a corner is like conceding a free kick just outside the box now. Against some teams, it's like a pen. I get that Slot is frustrated about the rise of it, and especially about the fact that a lot of teams are time wasting now too.
So many other games, especially currently in football, are not, in my opinion, a joy to watch anymore. It's become more and more time wasting. It's become more and more things that I don't like that much about the game, but which are very good tools to use to make it difficult for other teams if they play against you. So it's a new tactic in football, I would say.
But he has to adapt. There's no point about weeping about it. You just have to adjust to what the meta is now. The team struggles with long balls, set pieces, second balls. It also didn't help that Slot kept telling people publicly about his team's weaknesses in every single post-match interview. On top of that, they do not have a true defensive midfielder. Gravenberch, while talented, isn't a natural number 6. Without a solid anchor, Liverpool are soft through the middle like a donut, and they're so vulnerable to transitions. It worked last year, but teams have figured out how to break Liverpool's press. One thing that pretty much all the Liverpool fans agree on now is that what they're experiencing is not a run of bad form, it's a coaching problem. For the first time in his Liverpool career, Slot is really feeling the heat. Last year he was using Klopp's team, but this year it's his team. It's his guys. It's the players and profiles he wanted. It's his tactics. Yet after spending the GDP of an entire country, his team looks way worse than last year. When you invest that much, fans expect results. The problem is that spending doesn't guarantee chemistry right away. And now Liverpool find themselves in a strange spot where they're at the back end of the machine that Klopp had made, but now there's the uncertainty of Slot's new era. Now some fans understood that transitions take time, but now everybody's running out of patience. Many fans were like, let's see how this plays out. I think a lot of these guys had hoped that if Slot can still get Champions League football and they fix some of the gaps in the team over the summer, Liverpool could be back. Even the biggest Slot supporters are losing faith.
Well, I think we're seeing the same for Chelsea, and you can argue we're seeing the same now with Aston Villa as well. The combination of Premier League and Champions League is really, really difficult. But Liverpool were sort of built for this, weren't they? That was what it meant to be. They won the title last season. They were bringing in different players, change the style, make it more away from Jurgen Klopp and more towards Arne Slot. But quite simply, the players haven't come in and done in the way that perhaps you thought they would.
The team has shown basically nothing all season. They don't look like they know how to create chances, they can't defend properly, and they definitely can't control games the way they used to. It's like they've lost their identity. Every match feels and looks the same. Liverpool struggle to break down the low block, they create nothing, they get hit on the counter. That's why they keep conceding late goals. What's even more frustrating is that most of their results haven't even come from good team play. Maybe just the result against Galatasaray. Most of their best moments have come from individual moments of brilliance, mainly from Dominik Szoboszlai and Ekitike. Outside of that, the team looks completely lost. At times, they legit look like they've never played together. And at some point, that falls on the manager. Especially since it's been like a year of them playing so poorly. Like if a couple of players were out of form, that's on the players. But when the entire team looks this bad, that's completely on the coach. And Slot right now looks like he has no idea how to fix it. Making that Tottenham side look like a competent team might be the most impressive thing that Arne Slot has done all season. And of course, if you can't sense the sarcasm, I don't mean that in a good way. He just looks out of his depth, and it's getting harder and harder to defend him, especially since his post-match interview comments have become stranger and stranger.
Not a week ago, because we had to play on Sunday, and not on Saturday, but Sunday, and then Wednesday, and then Saturday. Not as all the other Champions League teams playing on Sunday, but we had to play on Saturday, early kickoff.
It doesn't help himself with some of his excuses. Yesterday it was because it was a lunchtime kick-off on the back of a Champions League midweek game, when earlier in the season he said that he didn't mind Saturday lunchtime kick-offs because they train at 12 o'clock. Well, you know, he's got to try and be at the very least consistent, hasn't he, even if his team isn't.
What makes this even more confusing is that with the squad they have, they should easily be able to play some direct, fast-flowing football. You've got players like Ekitike, Wirtz, Frimpong, Gravenberch, Rio and Gomoa. These players thrive in space, they are dangerous on the break, and they can carry the ball and hurt teams in transition. So why are Liverpool playing this slow, sluggish possession football? It just doesn't make any sense. Instead of sitting compact, defending well, and then exploding forward on the counter, they're stuck forcing this one predictable system. Arne Slot came into this job with a reputation of being tactically flexible, being the type of manager who can adapt to the players that he has. Yet now, every game looks the same. He keeps using and reusing the same tactics, even though it's getting him the same result. The more you think about it, the more frustrating it becomes. It seems like Slot and Richard Hughes became too obsessed with only one problem from last season, and that was how to beat low blocks. Teams have just figured Liverpool out. They stay deep, they stay compact, and they force the Reds to pass endlessly without any penetration. It's all foreplay. So the goal was that over the summer, Liverpool would spend big on players who are comfortable receiving the ball to their feet. That's what Wirtz, Ekitike, and Isak were supposed to provide. They were technical, creative signings. But the reality is that obsession made the squad unbalanced. With Diaz gone and Salah losing his legs, they basically only have one winger that can run at defenders, and that's Rio and Gomoa. Gakpo is way too one-dimensional. He just cuts in and shoots every time. Yet naturally, Slot keeps continuing to play his golden boy. Even when Liverpool win now, it feels like they just got away with it. Look at the match against Burnley where they relied on a penalty. Look at the match against Newcastle where they had to get an injury time winner. Against Arsenal, it was a Szoboszlai free kick masterclass. For a manager who spoke so much about control last year, the games this year are the complete opposite. For the neutrals, some games can be entertaining. For the hate watchers, I mean, they've had a field day this year. For Liverpool fans, it's a snooze fest. But even if you're bored out of your mind from watching slot ball, make sure that you have a Liverpool jersey on. If you don't have one, go to buygamejerseys.com and use code PedTalks at checkout for a discount. And the warning signs go back further than people think. Like, some fans are just now connecting the dots back to the end of last season, when the performances dipped after the title was basically sealed. Since then, Liverpool have not looked the same, and Slot hasn't managed to fix it. Losing even impacts how you view the players, and more specifically, how you look at Arne Slot. When Liverpool were winning, Slot had so much aura, his bald head glistening, as he told you exactly how he tactically manipulated the other team. Now when he loses, he looks like Humpty Dumpty. When you're losing, the honesty isn't refreshing, it's annoying. Like him justifying his complete rotation of the squad versus Crystal Palace by saying he doesn't have enough players was very tone deaf.
And I think at this moment of time, with only 15, 16 players available, and I'm talking then about players of our squad available, and then
there's the issue of certain individual players. Some guys just have been completely underperforming this season. Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk, two players who used to be untouchable, are not getting called out.
Van Dijk and Salah, obviously they've signed new deals and whatever, but I don't think they've really led that team this season. And I know there's been a few...
What makes you say that? In what way?
Just performances and body language. I think body language tells you a lot.
Like, I am one of the biggest Van Dijk supporters out there. But this season, he has looked like Van Disney. Salah transformed from the best player in the Premier League to one of the worst almost overnight.
I don't think Mo Salah should be like a Virgil van Dijk, where it's like first name on the team sheet.
He just doesn't look the same anymore. I never thought I would see the day where Salah would be a net negative for a team when he's on the pitch. Part of it, of course, is probably because he's still mourning from Jota. At the end of the day, these players are human, it's not career mode. Another factor is Trent's absence. Him and Salah had a wonderful connection that lasted for years. Nobody can play the pass as Trent could to Salah, so now he finds himself with less service. He's also asked to hug the touchline and Slot's new tactical setup. Everything he touched last year turned into gold. He was the biggest reason that Liverpool were champions, but now at times he looks like a liability on the pitch. And of course, Van Dijk has had some terrible moments this season too. Mbeumo's goal was because of him doing his nonchalant gimmick. Nico Gonzalez's goal was because Van Dijk lazily put out a foot while attempting to defend. The mood around the veterans is pretty clear. Something has to change. They have to play well, because reputation doesn't mean anything if your performances are this poor. When the confidence dips across the squad, even small errors look huge. And that's what's happening right now. Every misplaced pass, every defensive lapse, every missed opportunity feels like a crisis. Watching the Curtis Jones interview, it's very clear that the team is begging for some reaction from the rest of the players, for somebody to step up as a leader. The amount of times I've watched an opponent just run through 3 or 4 Liverpool players this year is insane. This whole we need to be dogs, we need to show fight, it sounds great in an interview, but the fans want to see that kind of talk turn into action on the actual pitch. They want tackles, they want intensity, they want players who don't just let the opponent run through them like they're not even there. The team at times looks softer than a baby's bottom. These fans want to see the players that can get nasty. Fabinho snapping into tackle, Mane pressing like a madman, Endo throwing himself into challenges. Even Nunez, Diaz and Tsimikas brought chaos and unpredictability last year, something this current version of Liverpool just don't have. Liverpool definitely feel the impact of many of the players that left. Luis Diaz was a great spark with his work rate on that left-hand side. That energy that him and Nunez played with was vital to the way Liverpool pressed. Like nobody in Liverpool's attack can press like Darwin Nunez used to. Trent's creativity is also missing from the right-hand side, especially when they face those ugly low blocks. And of course, Jota's absence goes beyond football. The problems though with this Liverpool team is structural. Yes, Diaz would have helped this team, but let's be real, he was never the player for Liverpool that he is now for Bayern. In all those years he was in the Premier League, he never put up the kind of stats we're seeing him put up now. Being in a different league, in a different system, all plays a role. Trent missing obviously hurts them too, but the reality is that even if these guys were here, with the style of play that Slot is trying to play, with his current tactics, those guys would be struggling too. Many times this season, Liverpool have just looked slow, flat. They've lacked a spark. Just go back and rewatch the last few minutes of the first half between Liverpool and Manchester City. Liverpool couldn't get out of their end. They didn't want to press. Their legs looked gone. That lack of urgency is what led them to conceding the second. And this is so weird to see for a Liverpool team, because even at their worst, the one consistent factor with Liverpool was that they always played with energy. The patience that fans had for Klopp's rebuild seems thinner now. The expectation is instant success because of the spending and because of what this team achieved last year. The passing is so slow, the movement is so predictable, the pressing that once defined this team is gone. No one's even running at defenders anymore. Everything is methodical, it's predictable, it's boring. These are not bad players. Liverpool still have elite talent across the pitch. But right now it feels like none of them know what they're supposed to be doing. They look like a collection of great players who just don't fit together. And a lot of that is Arne Slot's fault. To see how good this Liverpool team used to look under him, you have to watch this video right here.